What's up, everybody? Welcome to Right Here, Right Now, a podcast about, well, anything, right here in the Because of Me Network. Hope you're doing well today. This is John, and I'm joined by Sarah. Sarah, how are you?
I am okay. It's been a crazy week.
It has been a crazy week, and I just have one question for you. Do you fancy some lasagna?
I thought you was going to ask me if I was mad for it.
No, I can't do that without trying to sound pretentious.
Right.
So I'm going to ask, would you fancy some lasagna instead?
Strawberries and cream are better.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Right Here, Right Now. As I mentioned, it's a podcast about anything, and we have something that we finally have to talk about.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, we do.
Because usually the stuff that's out there is political or pseudo-political or social, and those things are important, but everybody's talking about them, so I don't want to add another voice to the fire. But this week, we had a surprise something happened.
Heck yeah, we did.
So, what happened? Well, first of all, you got to go to becausemaybepodcast.com and check out our archives. Go check out Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest news and what's going on. And don't forget to check out Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podchaser, Pandora, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podbean, or Amazon Music. That's where you'll find this podcast on the 90s podcast. This is a YouTube exclusive. Should have said that really before I went through with that. Oh, well, never mind.
See.
I'm sorry. I'm just so excited because...
Yes. The boys are back in town.
The boys are back, ladies and gentlemen. The greatest band of the 90s, the biggest band of the 90s by every metric imaginable, announced their reunion. Yes, Oasis are back, and I'm so excited. And I know you are too.
Yes.
So why is this important to us? Well, this is a pretty big deal for a start, right? Now the rumor started last Friday. Because this is being released on a Sunday, so not the Friday that just happened, the Friday before.
Yes.
That a newspaper said, hey, they've agreed to come back. And everybody was like, no.
What?
Get out of here. Mm-mm. And then the next day, at like midnight UK time, all three official YouTube accounts, Facebook pages, and social media, they dropped an identical 10-second video saying 27th of August, 8 a.m.
Yes.
And that turned out to be an announcement.
Yes.
That... Hang on. I will read the actual announcement.
Oh, please.
Because, you know, it's
all poignant and stuff.
It's all poignant, and yeah, so... We were all excited, or I was excited anyway. And, I just... Yeah. So, what they said was... And I quote... Hang on. There we are. The guns have fallen silent. The stars have aligned. The great wait is over. Come see. It will not be televised. So, we're talking about the reunion of Oasis today. Why is that important to us? Well, first of all, before we get into why it's important to us, it's important so that we run into the gatekeepers of the world.
Right.
Who we are and what our credentials are. First things first, for me, okay?
Right.
I own all 19 Oasis/Oasis adjacent albums.
Okay.
That's the 9 Oasis albums that came out, because I'm including the Master Plan of Familiar to Millions in that.
Okay.
Okay, that's the 2 BDI albums that came out.
Fabulous,
the 4 non-compilation High Flying Birds albums that come out.
Yes.
And the 3 Liam Gallagher solo albums that come out. I own them all on CD or digital download, or in Liam's case, the vinyl.
Yes.
So that's my credentials. I own every single song. I've listened to every single song that has been released, demoed. Anything that's out there in the ether, my ears have been on it.
Yes.
Even these swollen-handed blues. That's my credentials.
Yes.
Sarah, your credentials are along the same lines?
Along the same lines. Keep in mind that I am 3 years older, and at that time, that means I got into them about 3 years before you did. Really.
Well,
sort of.
I was a fan of 12.
Okay, yeah. But a 12-year-old fan and a 15-year-old fan.
Yeah.
Or actually 16. Yeah, no, 15. Yeah, 15.
15.
Yeah. So, yeah. Whew. So, yeah, all of the above. And then being from over here, though, I used to have to beg my local music stores to order imports.
Okay.
I had Wibbling Rivalry on 45. when I was 16, I somehow convinced my mother to let me hop on a Greyhound and go across country to go see them. The last time they had broken up was the end of 96, the beginning of 97.
Something like that. There was a tour that they abandoned during that time because Liam lost his house.
Yes. And then then they did Be Here Now.
Yes.
And the first North American date for the Be Here Now tour, I was like, I have to go to this because if I don't go, I won't get to see them because the tour is going to fall apart. Now, I said this back in the end of 97, which is when tickets went for sale. So I got tickets to January 8th in Fairfax, Virginia, which was technically the second show, but the first one was a Sony gathering thing. So this is the first. Yeah,
it was the first gig.
Yeah, the first big gig anyway. So, but I, at 16 years old, convinced my mother to let me get on a Greyhound from Louisiana by myself and go all the way to Scranton, Pennsylvania to go stay with the person that I had met online. I got robbed at gunpoint in Atlanta. We got to Scranton. I stayed there for a couple days and we took the Greyhound from Scranton to Fairfax to go to the gig. And then we did the gig and almost met them after. It did not end well, but I did meet Corner Shop. Lovely. We ended up going back to the bus station. My mom, when she booked the Greyhound tickets with Reginald Dwight, who the Carl Winslow from Family Matters, or the cop from Die Hard, depending on where you know him from. Yes,
you know him from.
He sort of inadvertently bankrolled all of this. Another story for another day.
That's for another day.
Yes, but anyway, so when my mom booked the Greyhound tickets with Mr. Dwight's money, she didn't make sure that particular Greyhound was open 24 hours. So it was snowing. It was January. It was in Fairfax. Is right outside DC.
Yeah.
So we get there because we ran into somebody from the whatever list there who was kind enough, which is the official Oasis email mailing list back in the day.
We'll get to that here later.
Yes. So she gave us a ride to the Greyhound station and it was snowing and I didn't have a coat. And the Greyhound station was closed. It was 11 o'clock at night. Our bus wasn't due to leave until 5:30 the next morning. We were just going to sleep at the station or just hang out at the station. Oops. So the police ended up getting call my mom. My mom called the police. I had an aunt in DC. Long story short, it was a thing.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. And then I have some of my bestest friends in the world that I've met through this band. I was on whatever for forever until it went poof. Yeah. So I've got a lot of really, really good friends. Inadvertently through this band we met.
Yeah.
And so if it wasn't for this band, we wouldn't have our children.
Correct.
Yeah. So they're just. And well, when my ex-husband and I divorced, before you and I got together, I played Oasis videos so much that Tara, for a very short period of time, called Noel her rock daddy. We won't discuss that. So I was like, sure, okay.
Well, that's a heck of a credential list. I've been a fan since I was about 12 years old.
Yes.
I didn't really get into them until around, a lot of people my age did, around about the Battle of Britpop. And the two songs that were released for Battle of Britpop weren't the best songs from either band.
Yeah.
But Country House is a dreadful song, to the point where Graham Coxon wanted to jump out of a window, and he's Blue's main guitarist.
Right.
When they recorded it. I never got to see them live. I either couldn't afford it, was too young, or they weren't playing a gig that it was accessible to me.
Yes, yeah. I was like, screw it, we're rolling.
Well, I did, they did perform 4 major gigs on TV and radio during that time that I watched. The Finsbury Park gig in Heathen Chemistry Tour. Right. Nebworth show was on Radio 1. GMEX show was on MTV Europe. back when it was a continental thing rather than just a country thing.
Yeah, see, all we had was Unplugged, really, on MTV.
We didn't have Unplugged. That was mostly an American thing. Really? Yes, I think.
Yeah, no. So
I never saw the Unplugged performance until years later. I didn't know they'd done the Unplugged performance until years later.
Oh, yeah, no. The first, I remember falling in love with Oasis when I was doing my homework with MTV on in the background, and Wonderwall came on, and I was just like, hold up, who's this? New band, who this? So yeah, that was it, and I was done.
See, for me, the first song I heard was "Take It Away." Not being hipster or anything like that, but my sister had the Supersonic CD, and she was listening to it, and I missed the first song. I caught the second song.
Yeah.
So, that was the first time I heard of him. So that's kind of a hipster moment for me. I listened to one of the earliest B-sides myself.
Yeah. Well, I had to go back and have all my singles special ordered.
Yes.
So
that makes you a bigger fan, I guess. I learned to play the guitar because of these guys. I started off with Sad Song and Bugsy's Dinner.
Ah, yeah.
Which is not an easy song to play. It sounds easy, but it's really not. It's intermediate. For somebody who's never picked up a guitar before, it's a tough one to play.
Right.
And then I spent my internet years on the Oasis message boards. The main two that I spent on was the Mad Fair OA515. And after that, kind of went...
It was Oasis Fanatic, wasn't it?
It was Oasis Fanatic, and there was a lot of people who I met on there. Just went out and hung out with them a few times.
So we have really good friends from Fanatic.
Yeah.
Like Joves and Barry, and
Yeah, so I mean, that's just... that's who we are. That's why this is important to us.
Yes, absolutely.
The music itself is important to us.
Yes,
but the lifestyle surrounding.
Well, I mean, they just
into our lives.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just songs on the radio or on the TV. Like literally,
lifelong
friendships. So many life milestones.
Yeah,
are based around this band. And I know it's weird. I mean, but also I came into all of this a super Beatles fan too. Yeah. Which helped. So.
And I mean, it really, really is a big deal. Now, look, you mentioned the Beatles a second ago. There's always the comparisons to the Beatles, obviously.
Well, yeah, back then they made the comparisons to the Beatles.
But when you listen to the music itself, there are some Beatles-esque tracks in there. But it's less than 10% of the whole discography.
It is.
I think it was more along the lines of the fact that they were from a working class town in North England, and they carried themselves in a certain way, and they wrote music that appealed to the masses.
Yes, but also remember that for mainstream America, What's the Story, Morning Glory was more popular first than Definitely Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
And I would like to submit She's Electric for evidence as far as Beatles tracks.
That's a Beatles song.
Yes. So, but if you're coming into the band as a Beatles fan and that's the first album that you buy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and even though back then Noel was really big into his Dr. Seuss, which you've heard us talk about this before.
Dr. Seuss phase, yeah.
His Dr. Seuss lyric phase. Just the structure of the songs were very,
But that was every band after the Beatles. Every band had that 8-bar intro, verse, chorus, instrumental, chorus, 8-bar outro. Every band did it. The Smiths did it. Stone Roses did it.
Right.
Blur did it.
Right.
Pulp did it.
Right.
Nirvana did it.
Yeah. But Noel also had the haircut at the time too.
Well, they all had the haircut at the time, except Bonehead, who didn't have any hair.
Well, yeah.
No, he did have hair. It's just it was very, very thinning, and like the first time after he left the band that everybody saw him, he was completely bald.
Yeah.
So
he just cut off.
He just decided to get rid of it. But the working class thing. A lot of people in my hometown became fans of the band. A lot of kids I went to school with were ecstatic today and yesterday because they managed to get tickets to the reunion shows. They spent.
It's been so cool watching that.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that more here in a little bit.
So there was a lot of comparisons with the band, right?
Yeah.
We were all from council estates
Right.
or council adjacent areas, right?
Right.
Which is the poor parts of town.
Right.
You know, we all had unemployed relatives, unemployable relatives, or you'd work in the local steelworks. It was basically at the end of school, at the end of year 11 in school, when you were 16 years old, you either went on to sixth form or the steelworks opened their doors and you just poured in.
Right.
That's how it used to be.
For our American listeners, council estates are the closest thing we have over here is either Section 8 housing or what we would refer to as projects, like government apartments.
Yeah.
Either Section 8 housing, which is like it's a proper house, but it's owned by
the government, somebody local county.
Well, not even the government, but they take government funds. It's government subsidized for you to live there.
Well, with council houses, they're called council houses because they're owned by the council.
Oh well, Section 8, it doesn't necessarily have to be owned by the government, but they'll take like a voucher.
Yeah,
it's like rent stamps instead of food stamps.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
and so you know, it's.
But the whole poverty thing still checks.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? It's easy. Oh, poverty. Oh my God, the poverty in these places. They're some of the happiest places around in the UK. They're the most vibrant places because everybody has that shared connection.
Yes.
And, you know, all the kids play football together. All the teenagers get stoned together.
No one's called Burnage, which is the council state they're from, as the cultural the multicultural epicenter of Earth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people my age, between 35 and 45... British, came from a very, very poor area.
Right.
Or had a poor family. You know.
It's post-Thatcher.
Post-Thatcher.
Yeah.
Saw themselves in the music and saw themselves in the band.
Yeah.
You know, there was a reason why the kids wore the haircuts and did the Liam Swagger and stuff like that.
Even Nola said, you know, like the first album is about getting out and breaking free and living a life outside of where you're from.
I mean,
so yeah,
he went to London. He was the uninvited guest to stay till the end. I mean, you know. Now look, the music was always there, right? Always there. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of either brother's personalities. That made part of the attitude. No, just hear me out. It made the attitude of the band, and in some cases overshadowed the music.
Right.
Which, if they just once in a while stop talking and let the music do the talking, you know, they might have done better over here in America. You know, because they didn't play the game over here, right? There's the story going around that Rolling Stone, when they invite you to a photo shoot, it's a big honor, but you have to spend like 12 hours doing the photo shoot.
They were like,
they showed up for like 2 hours, left after hour 3, and didn't come back.
Well,
because that wasn't part of what you know, they thought
they did the whole Champagne Supernova video in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
They're like, you've got us for 2 hours. This is as good as we're going to do.
Yeah, and it wasn't just because of attitude and arrogance.
They were on a schedule.
They just didn't like making music videos. They didn't like they didn't mind doing interviews. But it was the music videos, it was the predetermined crap that they hated doing.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, and as far as over here goes, like certain genres you can get away with being more pretentious than others.
Yeah.
Like, okay, especially in the 90s. Like now everybody is speaking their truth and whatnot and and we can be anything. In the 90s it was a little different. Like you know, you had your country folks. You had, you know, who were like, you know, your big entertainers like Garth Brooks or whatever, George Strait, you know, larger than life. You had hip hop and R&B, right? So of course you had, you know, back then you've got Biggie walking around in the fur coat and the biggest, you know, I'm the biggest, I'm the best and whatever. Okay. And he was, you know, they all were. Like, I'm not disputing any of that.
Right.
But when it came to rock, especially post grunge, you weren't supposed to want the limelight. You weren't supposed to enjoy. You weren't supposed to talk about how good you were.
No.
You were supposed to be a miserable bastard. And Noel is admittedly a miserable bastard, but when it came to the band at the time, you know, it's all about this is us and we're the best, and you know,
everybody.
Yeah.
I watched a TikTok last night, right, of Noel talking about how he hates complaining rock stars.
Yeah.
Because he's doing someone else's, he's living someone else's dream.
Right.
You know, he said something, I can't remember verbatim, but he said something along the lines of, you know, I hate rock stars who are interviewed like, I just did a 15-hour flight to Australia and it was horrible. You know, and I'm like, just piss off and let somebody else do it who's, you know, a kid. Let some kids who are in their garage, you know, dreaming of this stuff, let them do it.
Graveyard's full of people.
Yeah. Graveyard is full of people who would love to travel 50. If you don't understand that reference, you need to look up a Billy Connolly sketch from 2000, I think it was. Where he was talking about...
snow globes.
Where he was talking about...
Duty free shop.
No, he was talking about a duty free shop, but the story comes from his old boss that he was working in shipyards with in Scotland. He had a real bad cough. And Billy was like, you know, you need to go to a doctor to get that checked out. And in true Glasgow fashion, the guy told him to fuck off. And he said, fuck off, Billy. The graveyard is full of people that love my fucking cough. Right? So
yeah.
Now, I love that phrase because, the graveyard's full of people who would love to travel 15 hours to Indonesia to play a gig, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, they had the attitude, they had the swagger, and America was used to the pouty rock star at the time. Because, I mean, Oasis came out...
We're after Kurt. I mean, Oasis broke out over here
a year or so after
grunge really... Not... Okay. How'd I put this?
Grunge didn't die with Kurt, but it started declining when he died.
Yes. I mean, and then... Yeah. And then you started to have... Things went from... screaming angst to, you know, ska and whatnot. You had like No Doubt and all that stuff and Sublime but so tides were turning, but they still weren't cocky. No, we didn't know how to deal with.
You were expecting another Beatles, and musically you got that. Attitudinal, you didn't get that because John Lennon might have said, "Oh, we're bigger than Jesus." Yeah,
but here's the thing. How to put this. When Brits come over in a quote-unquote invasion and they're very cocky about it, we tend to go, really? Really?
We go through your tea and harbor, aren't we?
Right. So, yeah.
Well, it wasn't just that too, right? You know, it wasn't just that. It was along the lines of, you know, you said yourself they weren't used to happy rock stars, right?
Yeah.
The reason why some of the Oasis songs are considered happier, or at least good-natured,
right,
is ironically because of Nirvana.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know the story or not, but in Utero sessions, Nirvana were not enjoying how the sessions were going. Mm-hmm. And in an interview, the joke was, you know, hey Dave, how are you doing? Oh, I hate myself and I want to die.
Yeah.
And that quote got back to the UK.
Yeah.
And the UK music scene was like, fuck these Americans.
Right.
You know, you can't come over here and tell us that crap. You know what? We're going to make more positive.
Right.
And, you know, Blur and Suede and Pulp hit the first wave of that. Mm-hmm. And it went from I hate myself and I want to die to you and I are going to live forever.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I think that went a lot of the way to a lot of people's attitude, because a lot of people over here see Oasis as a two-trick pony. They did Wonderwall, they did Champagne Supernova, and that was it. I mean, look.
No.
Look, they sold 75 to 100 million albums, depending on which metric you use, right? Mm-hmm. Without cracking America. So that shows you that, take this one country aside, it's a big country, but take North America aside, and they swept the world.
Yeah.
Oasis were godlike in Japan.
Yes, weirdly so.
Huge in Japan, huge in France, which... To be an English language band to break out in France, Italy, and Germany was huge at the time, you know.
The only other
South America, they were still playing stadiums in South America on their last tour.
Yeah.
So they might have struggled to sell 6,000 seat arenas in the United States, but they were just coming off of 50,000 people in Buenos Aires.
Right.
You know.
Well, also. At the time, The only other British act over here before them to quote unquote break through did it opposite, and that was Bush. Yeah. So Bush were British, but they nobody back home knew who the hell they were. No. And they did that on purpose. They broke through over here first, which is so weird because at one point they were recording at Abbey Road when Oasis were.
Yeah.
And nobody knew who the hell Gavin Rossdale was. He was able to like get in and out, and which would never have happened here. Like girls would have mauled his cute little ass.
Well, because Abbey Road worked on a cash policy.
Right.
You don't book at Abbey Road. You show up with cash and you say, how many days can I get for this amount of money? And they'll tell you, well, if you're paying us in cash, it's $2,500 a day.
Right.
Or something along those lines. Or it was back then. That's how U2 had to record the Pop Mart album elsewhere because Oasis bought out their sessions with cash for the Be Here Now album.
Yes.
Which is absolutely hilarious because Noel and Bono are good friends.
Yes.
You know, but that was a very, very business decision.
And do you know that summer?
You could have watched Oasis and U2.
Yes, but Oasis didn't join in on the U2 thing until like 2 dates after Dallas. So, I mean, I did get to see Rage Against the Machine, though. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean,
And my mom wanted to go in the mosh pit. I don't really like the style of the music, but their message, man, I'm like... Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom.
Rage Against the Toaster.
It's supposed to be. He's like, you know what he's saying? It's really... Yes, Mom. Okay, sorry. Yeah. But...
So, I mean, they influenced my songwriting, too.
Yeah.
I mean, between the age of, like, 19 to 24, I wrote about, how many? 200 songs?
Jesus, a lot. Yeah.
And... A lot of them sound stolen. Because I'd hear something in my head, write it down, play it, and then like, oh crap, it sounds like this. It sounds too much like this.
Yeah, but that's what Noel did. So
yeah, I know that, but it was even more obvious. You know what I mean?
I guess.
And you know, we mentioned earlier, we met a lot. We've met a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
You know, mutual friends and individual friends. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, just
some of my absolute favorite people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and so you know, I had a lot of fun this last week getting back in touch with a lot of those guys.
Yes, this week has been crazy.
You know, because we haven't spoken in years. You know, life moves on.
Yes,
you're away from the message boards. Folks get married. They have children.
Yes,
they don't get married and have children, but they get married. They don't have children. They just get married and they tour the world. And whatever. You know, life happens, right? Yeah. And it was really good to get back in touch with a lot of people. It brought back a lot of good memories.
Well, also, I mean, over the years, you know, we check in with them, you know, and like posts on social media and things like that and whatever. And, you know, congrats to them on this, that, or the other. But there hasn't been a lot of, oh, my God, have you heard the latest? And it's almost like the last 20 years just sort of went poof.
Yeah, the last few years gone and we're right back to...
I know, it's so cool.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
It was so cool. So, okay, let me ask you a question, right? Oasis have had, let me count them in my head for a minute, 10 members. Okay. Who do you think's coming back for this tour?
Bonehead will do the Manchester gigs.
I think he'll do the entire UK leg of the tour.
You had mentioned something about his health being not quite what it was.
He had throat cancer.
Jesus, how did I not know that?
He pulled out of Liam's shows in Nebworth a few years ago.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But he's fully in remission.
Oh, okay, cool.
And if anybody who watched the videos noticed, they show clips of Liam, they show clips of Noel, and it was only like 2 or 3 clips, but they didn't show any Gwigsy, Whitey, Game, Andy. Right. They showed Bonehead though a couple times specifically.
So Bonehead will at least do the Manchester shows.
Yeah.
Then again, I mean, one of the reasons why he left is he wanted to see his kids, man. But his kids are grown.
Now he wants his kids to see him be the rock star again.
Yeah. So, because Lucy's older than Tara.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he had any more after Lucy. Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But anyway. But,
So you got Bonehead.
Yeah. So you got Bonehead.
I think it'll be Game because he worked with both Noel and Liam closely. You know, BDI he was close with. He's Noel's right-hand man.
Gim is going to need some assurance, though, that...
Well, he's not exactly in the greatest of health either. I mean, he fell down the stairs and fractured his skull.
No, I know that. I'm talking about just No, the lack of tomfoolery. Like we old at this point.
Yeah, he is all business.
Yeah.
Whenever he plays, you know.
I mean, at this point, though, really, I mean, if Liam comes after Noel the guitar, Noel's just got to bash Liam in that bad hip, and we're all good.
Go for the knee, Liam.
Right? Yeah. So, no, and well, Whitey can't drum.
I don't think he'd be welcomed back.
No, not after the Sotsog leaks
that were allegedly. And it wasn't just the Sotsog, it was the Heathen Chemistry leaks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a shame, but he was getting jaded at that point. He was saying things like, his drums were being toned down in the mix. But it mustn't grumble in this band.
Right, no, he got too big for his britches.
He was still the best drummer they had, although I'll go into that here in just a second.
I would be okay with Zach coming back to drum.
Zach would be a good choice, but I think he's on a Who tour right now.
Oh.
Next year's the final Who tour.
Right.
So I think he's already. So it's got to be Chris Sherrick, who's currently he did the last Oasis album.
Yeah.
The last Oasis tour.
Yeah.
He was the BDR drummer, and now he's Noel's drummer.
Well, so that's a good fit. So he knows the material.
He knows the material, and he knows the guys.
Okay, so here's if.
The sticking point's the bass player.
You think he'll do one show?
Wigsy?
Yeah.
No.
Not even one song?
No.
You think he might come out just for one?
No.
Not for all the Rolos in the world?
Not for all the Rolos, episodes of Doctor Who, and games of cricket imaginable. Because remember, being an Oasis was the sixth most important thing in his life.
I know, but he's had lots of time to do all of those other things.
Apparently he loves his anonymity.
Oh yeah, but one song in Manchester on one night, like opening night, like okay.
Dust off all the old members, bring McCarroll back.
I know, as I say, you could even have McCarroll back to do what is there? Okay, I hate to be an asshole. Is there one track he can still do?
Well, here's the thing. You could say that about Quigsy with Andy Bell's bass lines.
Yes, so it would have to be a definitely maybe song. What would it be?
Acquiesce. He was the original drummer of that song.
But did he do it right, or was it produced better? This is the question that I'm asking.
He's done it live. I've heard him do it live.
And he did it properly live?
I've got a recording of him doing it live by the sea.
Yeah.
It's in that gig.
Okay, so that's McCarroll?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some might say.
Could they do Live Forever? Can he do Live Forever?
He did Live Forever.
I know he's on the album.
Yeah, I mean,
but remember that was mixed to shit.
Okay,
afterward.
let me jump in for a minute, right?
Sorry, we're on a tangent. Excuse us.
No. Alan White is a great drummer, but I don't think he was the right fit for Oasis.
Oh.
Oasis needed a punk drummer, and Whitey was a jazz drummer. So
I mean, how he threw his wrist out.
That's definitely how he threw his wrist out. Like, okay, technical Tom, people, technical Tom. For every 4 beats McCarroll would hit the hi-hat, Whitey would only hit it twice. That's why his drumming sounds significantly different.
You know who Liam's good friends with?
Who?
Can they get Dave?
Dave Grohl?
Yeah.
No, because Noel hates him, and he hits Noel.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they hate each other.
Damn it.
Like, Noel went after Dave earlier this year, telling him to keep his fucking nose out of Oasis business.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah,
you know.
Well, they're just going to have to get what's-her-face.
Who?
What's-her-face? I can't... The little girl that...
okay. Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about? That took on Dave during...
They got to get the little girl and shit.
What's her name? It begins with an N.
No.
Okay, hang on.
You have to pull that up.
Yes, hang on.
But I don't think...
this out either.
But I don't think Andy Bell will come back to play bass. Because he's got a ride tour coming up. So it's going to have to be Noel's bass player. So it's basically Oasis High Flying Birds...
Yeah.
As the backup band, plus Bonehead and Liam.
Nandy Bushell.
Taylor
would have been perfect.
Taylor Hawkins. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
yeah,
I think they'll go with Chris Sherrick.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, he did the final Oasis tour, the final Oasis album, so
Right.
he was in the band.
I mean, okay.
He was in the inner circle.
Right. So they need a bass player?
Yeah. So
Right,
it's a choice between Andy Bell or Russell Pritchard.
They can call Paul McCartney up.
Look, I've said this before and I'll say this again. The Rolling Stones need a drummer and a bass player. The Beatles are a drummer and a bass player.
There
Take
you go.
what you will from that
Right.
information.
Right.
So I, in my head, right, when I was planning this episode and thinking, right, I
Yes.
thought, what would be a good set list?
Or hit me.
So I wrote down a set list, right? And I
How
think
many songs?
I think it's 21 or 22,
Okay.
which I think would be a good number for a reunion tour.
Are they in proper order?
They're in proper flow.
Okay.
So,
the last you've got encore songs?
yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, hit
this
me,
is-
Mr. Connolly. What you got?
You start off with the obvious one.
Fucking in the bushes.
Well, that's what they walk on to. If it's not a Morning Glory tour and it's a greatest hits tour,
Yeah.
this I think would be a good set.
Okay,
list.
hit me.
So they walk on to Fucking in the Bushes
Uh-huh.
because they've never played it live. They've always walked onto it. And it starts off with Hello. Why?
Because it's good to
It's
be
good
back.
to be back.
Yeah.
Then you flip to Acquiesce
Because we need each other. Yes.
because you need that early on in the gig. Columbia. Because that always gets played like third track in the
Yeah.
thing. Go Let It Out because
Yeah.
it's a monster song.
Yeah.
Morning Glory because
Yeah.
that flows pretty well. Lila.
Yes.
The Shock of the Lightning.
Okay.
Supersonic. Do you know what I mean? Then we bring the mood down a little bit. Stop crying your heart out. Then Noel steps up to do Little by Little. Half the World Away. Importance of Being Idle.
Is there an acoustic set in this?
It can be acoustic or electric. This is Noel's portion of the show. He sings 5 songs overall. He sings 4 in a row and 1 later on.
But he always did an acoustic.
Well, you can do these acoustic.
You can't do... Okay,
You do
anyway.
Half the World Away, Little by Little,
Can't, yeah.
Master Plan. Then the band comes back on. Whatever. Cigarettes and Alcohol. Slide Away. Champagne Supernova. Rock and Roll Star. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. Then everybody claps them back on. You Don't Look Back in Anger. Live Forever. Wonderwall.
Yes.
And I Am the Walrus.
Goo goo gajoop.
And that's the set. It's got a good mix of old and new. It's got the greatest hits on there. It doesn't have Magic Pie. I know that kills your
There's
heart.
no Idler's Dream. No Shangri-La.
No, they've never played that though.
I know, but they should have. I think Michelle and I spent the whole plane ride laughing at
Shangri-La.
Shangri-La. Anywho.
But that's a good set list, is it not?
Yes.
There were a couple I had to like leave out, like some might say.
Yes.
That's not on there. I can't remember what other ones I left off too.
Okay. But
Go on.
if Bonehead's there,
Yeah. You've got to give him a microphone heavily and Noel arguing to the side.
yeah, I mean, you've got to have a la 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 la.
Roll With It was not mentioned. But
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Roll With It.
Did you
but-
have Shaker Maker on there?
No.
Oh,
That'd be another good one too.
yeah. Because I mean, Mr. Sifter. I mean, duh.
Sifter gave an interview the other day.
They are pulling up everybody.
Excuse me, you tied Noel's shoes on the street in 1987.
Yes.
You know. So we got to talk about.
They'd be finding the dude whose milk truck they stole that one time when they were kids.
So we've got to talk about the elephant in the room. There's a reason at the very, very beginning, right, that we spoke about our credentials,
Okay.
and it's the gatekeeping that's come up.
Okay.
Okay, look.
I'm having an issue. I'm trying to get into my Facebook, but somehow or another got. No, wait, no, I didn't. Here we go.
Because here's the thing, right? I understand a lot of people my age are like these Gen Z Wonderwall warriors. They just want to come and listen to Wonderwall and then go home.
All right.
And I'm like, grow up.
All right.
If you use a set list like mine and put Wonderwall near the end, they've got to sit through Columbia. I mean, you know.
Right. Okay. So here's the thing.
Here's the deal, Pickle.
And you and I had this conversation, and you accused me of gatekeeping.
Because I didn't think you were being serious. I thought you were joking around.
No, I'm deadly serious. Okay, let me back up for just a second. Okay.
One of the things has been out there. Can you Google Oasis first drummer?
Okay, no, stop for a second. Stop.
Okay.
Okay. Let me back up as to why. Okay.
Okay, go on.
Now, there are millions of people who love this band.
Yes.
And I want everybody who loves this band to be able to experience them.
Yes.
Okay? I think it's fabulous, right? I also know, just because I've been around forever, that there are a lot of long-term, quote-unquote, OG fans, right?
Right.
And I'm not talking about people who just happen to like the albums or whatever, but people like you and I were talking about, like the whole shared experience thing. Like it's literally the soundtrack to
everybody's life,
portions of their lives, right? Who have been so distraught the last few days that they weren't able to get into the pre-sale or anything, or get through. The Ticketmaster handled this horribly.
Yeah, they did.
So, and we could touch on that here in a minute.
The tickets went on sale today. They're gone. They're already sold out.
Yeah.
And considering the size of the venues that they're playing in the UK and Ireland,
that's crazy.
3 nights at Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, which is 70,000 people.
Yeah.
4 nights at Wembley, which is 80,000 people. 3 nights at Croke Park, which is 80,000 people.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about total. We're talking about each gig.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, they sold more here than they sold at Nebworth, and they had more demand than what they had at Nebworth, and that was their height.
Yeah. So, now, okay, you're naming... I'm glad you named those numbers, because my suggestion, okay, and I made this in a Facebook post, that, and I'll pull it up and I'll read it here in just a second.
Okay. It
would be lovely if a small portion, okay, I don't want to gatekeep this band from people. I think if you jive with it, you should absolutely listen to it. You know what I mean? And if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, what's your favorite? Let's let's share info and let's whatnot. Okay.
Right.
I just think that there should have been, and it didn't have to be a great number, because to be perfectly honest, the OG people, right, is not necessarily a huge. And I'm not talking about your passive fans. I'm talking about your live and die. Like, oh my God, Ned, who ran the whatever mailing list, which is the official. This is before message boards, people. This is long before message boards. This is like in the early evolution of IRC. Okay, we didn't even have AIM. All right, I was on web TV. All right, so Ned graciously was he was the herder of cats on the whatever mailing list, the official mailing list.
Yeah,
and I'm talking about like folks who were big, you know, like way back then, an Oasis fanatic and whatnot. So I was thinking, okay, out of those, like, let's say, how many people at Cardiff?
It's 80,000.
It seats 80,000.
Roughly.
Okay. So is there any reason why a certain pre-sale couldn't be had for OG folks, set aside 200 or 300 tickets per show? Is that gatekeeping?
A little.
Okay.
I mean,
let me explain.
Okay.
So let me read my post.
It's not gatekeeping in the sense of, okay, name 3 songs, right? But there are a lot of people out there who are like, you know, it'd be different if this was some niche little band making their comeback, you know, an Spiral Carpets reunion.
Right.
And there were limited tickets.
Right.
And we'll name 3 songs, you know, what's this, that, and the other.
Yeah, no.
This was a mainstream band that played to 250,000 people over 2 nights at their height.
Right.
Where over 2 million people tried to get tickets.
Right.
They sold enough copies of Morning Glory for it to be in 1 in every 3 houses.
I'm just saying. Okay, hang on a minute. Okay. So here is the post that I made yesterday. Now, back up, I made this post because I had seen several. We're talking about people who knew Noel before, back when he was a roadie for the Carpets, okay? When I'm talking about, when I say OG, I'm talking about like back. Like before they even had a record deal back, okay? Who were absolutely crushed because they had been doing everything they could and they couldn't get through, right? So this is what I have to say. This is my post from yesterday. I'm really thinking, this is half in jest, but hear me out. There should be a pre-sale for folks who can be cross-referenced with the whatever mailing list, have documentation that they were in the fan club back in the day, or have concert ticket stubs from prior to 1999. It won't happen, but... Or, and this part is sort of a tongue-in-cheek.
This is what I'm talking about being tongue-in-cheek.
Okay. There should be some old school trivia questions. If you can answer at least 3 of these, you should be allowed in the pre-sale. All right? Who were Benson and Hedges?
Can we answer?
Please do.
Okay, see if I would get into this pre-sale. Okay.
Okay. Well, yeah, but I've already gone over this with you.
Yeah, but I've forgotten I'm ADD.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So who were Benson and Hedges?
They were Noel's cats.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Who is Jill Furmanovsky?
She was the engineer, definitely maybe.
No. Jill Furmanovsky is a renowned rock photographer, and she was the official photographer all through Definitely Maybe, or actually, we're starting from Morning Glory through Sotsog.
Okay. Now, there was a female engineer on Definitely Maybe, I just can't remember her name.
Right, but no, this is Jill. Okay. What format was Wibbling Rivalry released in?
Well, it'd be vinyl.
Yes, this was 45, yes.
Okay.
What was the name of their most popular tribute band, and what did Noel give them?
That was Oasis.
Yes.
Who had a hit with I'd Like to Teach in the style
Yes.
of Oasis.
Yes.
And he gave them, like, gear.
Yes.
He basically set the band up to be professional.
Well, no, his setup with, his setup, his stack, and the guitar that he used.
Yeah.
Because they were asking him how do I get this sound, and
So
he was trying to explain it. He was like, "You're not gonna be able to fucking afford this." Here, he just gave them the orange stack, the whole everything.
Johnny Marr did that to Noel.
Yes.
So he gave back.
Okay. What was the MRC?
No idea.
Okay, so we were supportive across the board. When Liam started screaming that Patsy Kensit gave him his number and she was mad for it, we cheered. And when Noel married Meg, we were like, well, we'll be nice and inclusive. And there are certain people who will not name who established the Meg Rocks Club, and it was a fan club for Meg. And we literally, it was a thing. It was an absolute thing. And we were trying to be nice because a lot of rock wives were not getting appreciated. And we made baskets and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was the MRC. All right. I'm going to read this question, but I'm not going to answer this question. What was the name of Derek Gorman's website, and how did it change?
I have no idea who Derek Gorman is. The only person I know is Dave Gorman.
I know. Bless you. You're. I don't want to slander someone, and because I don't really slander because there's proof. But Derek Gorman was a very dedicated, slightly zealous fan back in the day.
Okay.
Who. It was a lot.
Okay.
It was a lot. At one point, he had pictures of the basement at Supernova Heights, and we had no clue how he... I don't know.
That's a different story for a different day.
Yes. So, anyway. Who is / was Bod the Mod?
No idea.
That was Paul.
Oh, okay.
At one point, there were paper dolls. We're not discussing them.
No.
Okay. So...
For those who the hell's Paul, that's the oldest brother.
Yes.
So
he's very sweet. Okay. Who is Paolo Hubert?
He was an author who spent time on tour with the band.
Yes.
And wrote a book that if you are an Oasis fan and not read it, you need to read it. It's called Getting High. It's a fantastic book. It talks about the earliest days right up through Nebworth.
Yes. And it was the first authorized biography too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was there with them in the trenches.
Yes.
So
and what famous drummer did Noel throw off the bus in France because they would not shut up?
Now, I knew that story. It was Lars Ulrich.
Yeah. Bonus points if anyone knows, and this is extremely niche. I do not expect anyone except for maybe 5 people to, like, literally on Earth to know this.
Well,
but
I'm the 6th person because you've told me.
Yes, but I'm going to use the little Men in Black clicky thing on your face. You don't know this. Bonus points if anybody knows who Dwayne was and why their ring was significant. So, also points could be, you could ask, all the original members were Manchester City fans, except for who?
Bonnet.
Who supported?
Manchester United.
Yes. And...
Which I'm surprised he lasted in the band as long as he did.
Yes. And Gwigsy was obsessed by what chocolate? I've told you.
You told me this tonight, and I've forgotten already.
Rolos. Yes.
That's probably the seventh most important thing. Because Noel said in an interview that Gwigsy's most important thing in this order was cricket, Doctor Who, pot noodle, football, his family, Oasis, and I guess now Rolos was.
Right.
Don't you own a bear called Gwigsy?
Yes, I do. Gigantic bear.
Gigantic.
Oh, it's Tara's. I give it to Tara. But. That's Tara's, our oldest, and when she was a baby.
Yeah, they know Tara. She's done some episodes.
I know. But anyway, it's like a 3-foot tall teddy bear. Anyway, but it's named Gwigsy because it just sat there and didn't, unless it was entertaining, it just sort of sat there. It did not have time for anybody's bullshit. It just wanted to sit there and was perfectly content to be by itself. But again, I don't think having just a few tickets, is that really... I don't think keep anybody from the music.
No, I know. It's just...
I'm not shaming anybody for wanting to go.
That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about...
Okay, yeah. I don't want to... I would never shame anybody. Like, Frances Bean Cobain, that Oasis is her absolutely favorite band, or at least it was at one time. I mean, her Twitter handle was, Alka-Seltzer...
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Well, the gatekeeping I'm talking about is the, name 3 songs.
Yeah, no.
Gen Z doesn't deserve to be part of this.
Oh, no, they absolutely do.
People only want to go up to listen to Wonderwall. Wouldn't it be
That's
brilliant
bullshit.
if they left Wonderwall off the set list? Oh, that would be absolutely hilarious if they did.
They would not. People would riot.
I think they would, because remember they didn't play it the last few tours because...
Yeah, people would riot. Like, it would not go well.
For this kind of tour, you need it.
But I will say that it has been fabulous this last week.
Yeah.
Like, Ned wrote a piece on his Patreon. Ned Raggett, he is, like I said earlier, he ran whatever, and God bless that man. He is a saint for putting up with all of our bullshit back in the day. Herding cats. Because keep in mind, at one point in time, like, there were no message boards. If you were on the internet and you wanted to talk to other Oasis fans worldwide, this was the only place to do it. And he ran all of that by himself. Bless him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, getting to talk to, see people do write-ups and other long-term fans, and
even us doing this.
Yes, it's cool, man. It's like a whole community thing, and I think it's just, I don't know, I dig
the funniest thing about it, right, is the criticisms that people get. And look, right, I'm one of these people who's like what you like, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna yuck anybody's yum.
No, I'll have a giggle and I'll joke in manner about some certain things. Like, somebody said that the Oasis reunion is like the 40-year-old version of the Eras tour.
I'm here for it. And
you know what? Yeah, all right.
My Gen X groups on Facebook, other than the Swiftie group, they're all like, "Okay, is this our moment? Like, what the fuck do we make friendship bracelets out of in Guinness bottle caps? Like, What are we doing?"
But it's the genuine. I've got a cousin, right? I got 2 cousins.
Got a dozen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've got more than a dozen cousins.
I know.
Catholic families, yo. Irish Catholic families, yo.
I know which cousin you're talking about.
County Mayo Irish families, yo.
Right.
Yes. So I've got a cousin, him and his sister, big music fans. Mm-hmm. Marie, God love her. Mm-hmm. First thing she asked me when I got back, when I saw her last year when I went over there, was, so which brother do you like more, Noel or Liam? Right? Because she wanted to know my opinion of the music. Yeah. And her brother Jamie, God love Jamie. Jamie's the older brother I never had.
Yes, I love Jamie.
If not caring about something was an Olympic sport,
he'd win fucking platinum.
He'd win platinum because
every time
he has made 25. I've counted them all. He has made 25 posts that he doesn't care about this reunion. And
my
memes.
Again, a solid 20% of my of my friends on Facebook or on social media period are old Oasis folks, that we all sort of grew up together. And even with all of that and the frantic posting and the celebration and the
I got pre-sale tickets.
Or please don't fucking ask me about a pre-sale ticket. I have been on this with Ticketmaster for 3 days, but even with all of that, his trolling posts have dominated my Facebook feed.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, he'd love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He is like the quintessential petty hater.
Yeah.
And I love him. I absolutely love that man. Yes.
He's a character and I love him to death. It's just okay. Back in the UK in the mid-90s, pre-internet days, right, we had a thing called teletext. You press the button and you put in like a 3-digit code and it would pull up an article. Okay. Right? And it was pre-internet. But, it's where we found out the latest news, the way the TV guide, it was information, basically, right?
All right.
And there's a TV show called This Morning, right? Which is a morning show on ITV. And two of the hosts were having a mini feud.
Okay.
Ooh.
Right.
And Teletext put up a poll.
Oh, no.
Dial 1-800, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Press 1 if you agree with Anthea. Press 2 if you agree with Eamon. Or press 3 if you don't care one way or the other. And that got 70% of the vote. So I don't care about this. Wait, honey, where's the phone?
Yes, that is Peebs in a freaking... Yeah. But all of that aside, I'm so excited. And you cannot convince me that Shirley
Manson
did not have anything to do with this.
This was something that was done by Shirley Manson, Born Ed.
Yes.
Because him and Noel are back on good terms again. I don't think they weren't ever on good terms. It's just they drifted apart after he left.
Noel's daughter.
Liam's son.
Yeah. Which one? The oldest, Lennon?
No, Jean.
Yeah.
The one who's not in trouble with the police right now. And of course, Mama Oasis.
Peggy. Yeah. Well, Peggy probably wanted to see them do. I mean, she's not getting any younger.
No.
Well, and it would. I mean, if I were a parent, I would guilt trip the shit out of my children. Can y'all just stop? Like, can y'all be in a room one?
And I think that's what it was.
Started,
the type of Irish person. Irish parent put their foot down and say, right,
this has gone on long enough. This is bullshit. I want a Christmas. I want everybody under the roof for, figure it the fuck out. But you have to remember, so like, even though we just learned about this like 9 days ago, whatever. The fact of the matter is that these things take time.
Yeah, this
setting up.
For months.
Yeah, it had to have been, and that's just the legalities of the logistics of setting up the gigs. But getting to that point to where they could talk to one another, to where they could be in the same room, to where they were even calmed down enough where they could negotiate the contracts to set up the business ventures and the LLCs and everything needed to do all of this. Right. As I'm saying. Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a whole new thing. I mean, from a business standpoint, legal back end, it's new contracts, new whatevers. So, to do all of that, this had to have been in effect for contact, or at least the softening of hearts. Had to have started at least a year ago, if not 18 months ago.
Well, yeah.
And where was Noel? Where was Noel, or where was he recently done with?
Yeah.
So, and Mama Shirley is nothing if not
persuasive.
Yes, and and she talked about how both brothers, even in the sludge of the 90s, both brothers were nice to her, and Liam included. And how, and she's really big on this, let shit go. Like, she's just this lovely Scottish, fuck it, let it go.
Well, not just that. I think, Noel leaving his wife. Or his wife leaving Noel, or whatever way.
I'm not touching that one with 10 foot pole.
No, there was rumors going around.
Well, yeah, no, Sarah and Liam did not, and they've even said in interviews they did not get along.
Well, it's not the fact they didn't get along. One of the arguments over the split was a paternal paternity thing.
Yeah, but Liam,
And
when
Liam's
Liam's drunk, when Liam's fucked up, he talks mad shit.
Yeah, and he was just mouthing off the thing.
Of course he was.
But you remember stuff like that, and I think.
Well, here's okay.
You can't go talk to him. He questioned this.
Well, no. Again, I'm not touching that. But what I will say is this: we were watching this last week a documentary,
Supersonic documentary.
Yes, and there was a line in there that holds true. Noel has a lot of buttons, and Liam has a lot of fingers.
Yes,
and it has always been that way. And there's a lot of reasons why. Family dynamics, the way they grew up, this, that, and the other. And Noel even said itself, Liam is a big, energetic puppy. He needs attention all the time. And Noel's like a pissed off cat who just wants to be left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And I get that. I totally get that. Their personalities have always clashed. But I honestly think we're old enough. Okay, here's the thing. Fleetwood Mac fucking hated each other. Like, after Rumors and all that stuff and everything, they hated each other.
Yeah.
They did get back together after they did the 25th anniversary of Rumors concert, where we got the fabulous Silver Springs performance. But
where she stared daggers through him the whole time she's singing.
But after that, they were able to do like 2 years of touring before they, shit reared up again and then they couldn't stand each other again. Yeah. But keep in mind, they were able to let shit go. I remember Lindsey Buckingham saying that it went from bittersweet to just sweet.
And then bitter again.
Well, we're not going to talk about that. What I'm saying is, there's been a lot of jokes this last week about y'all make sure you get that ticket insurance.
TikToks of fights going on and the caption being along the lines of Noel and Liam during the second song of the first show.
Yeah, somebody's gonna, yeah. I don't think, right now they're too old for this shit, and folks got bills to pay,
Oh yeah, the alimony, child support.
Yeah, we ain't talking about all that. But,
they said to make bank for this tour.
Oh yeah. So I personally believe they will get through the dates that have already been announced. I don't think that's going to be a problem.
The North American dates that are going to be announced.
I think we can get at least one solid, really good tour. We may, depending on how the tour goes, I don't know. We might get an EP. I don't know if we're gonna get a full album.
No, I think they'll do. I think they'll do one more album. And the reason I say this,
it depends on if they can. Cause see, here's the thing. There's places you can go when you're on tour. Like, if you're touring a city or whatever, and somebody's pissing you off, you can go explore for the day.
Yeah.
If you're recording, you're in a fucking room with somebody.
Well, the way Noel records these days, though, is different to the way you record in the Oasis days. He records a full demo of the songs, and then gives it to other people to do
their parts.
But so if he does that, he doesn't have to necessarily be in the room and micromanage Liam, saying, "Can you sing that a little higher with a little more?"
Right. But also, I don't know if Liam would be content to not have as much input as he did in the beginning.
No,
because he writes stuff now.
Yeah. And that's good too. I mean, Noel said he never get a song by Bonet or Griggs before. That's why he was shocked when Liam brought in Little James for the first time.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Noel has always been, and I'm like this too. It's not a control freak type thing. It's, if I know everything that's going on, I can make sure that it's good.
Yeah.
So the more hands that are in the thing, the more chance that it's not going to be the way that it needs to be.
No, I get that.
It's the perfectionism thing. But I don't know how much control he can let go.
Well, they both have done well with their solo albums and stuff like that.
I do know that in this past 15 years, Liam, if nothing else, has learned that
Noel's job wasn't easy.
no, Noel's job wasn't easy, but it's good being the person who owns the rights to the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because this whole time he's been playing Oasis tunes, Noel's gotten his
check.
His check. So I do think if they record something, Liam is going to have more music on it, and that's not a bad thing. No. But that added...
Liam's an underrated songwriter.
Yes. And this is not a knock on anybody, but what I'm saying is that added dynamic. I don't know. Well, I don't know how if they can do that through this. So I know we'll at least get an EP. I am fairly... I'm not a betting person, one, because I'm broke, but... I am fairly certain they will get through this tour with whatever dates are added, as long as it's not like a Eras tour type shit that goes for 3 years. But they'll do one really, really solid tour.
And they might get the itch to do something more.
And they might, and I think we'll get an EP out of it.
I think we'll get another album.
Well,
and I think what'll happen is
and also that they can record on tour also, but you can record on tour now too, that you couldn't really do back in the day, unless you
rented a studio in the city that you were in.
Well, not even so much that, but remember back in the day when REM
they recorded live.
Yeah. But I think we'll get something. I just
don't know what.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't want to.
Do you want to jinx it?
Well, no. What's the line from "Don't Look Back in Anger"?
Please don't put your life in the hands of this rock and roll band.
Exactly. I'm scared to
put your life back in the hands.
Yeah, because
that was the thing, right? I looked it up on Facebook, right? And we'll close with this story.
Okay.
First of all, before I'd say my story. Everybody who's gotten tickets,
y'all are awesome.
You're all awesome. I'm not jealous in the slightest.
We are so happy for
maybe
y'all.
A little bit jealous, but I'm hoping that they announce. If they announce Dallas or Houston, I will find a way to get the money to.
I will sell his left testicle.
Yeah, they're $10,000 a piece. No, $30,000 a piece. I got no use for it anymore.
We're not having any more kids. It's fine.
So, 28th of August. Is a significant date in my life.
Yes.
Because 4 things happened that are noteworthy or stood out in my brain that has recorded them as core memories. Right?
Yes.
We'll start at 2014, where a bunch of white flower knuckle draggers decided to hold a protest, including a hunger strike, outside a police station. It was the wrong police station that they were protesting at, number one. And number 2, in solidarity, people brought light-up barbecues. And the hunger strike included burgers, hot dogs.
I remember that. Oh, God, that was hysterical.
And it lasted like 5 days. And I can't find the website, but it is on the Wayback Machine. I'll try and put a link to it in the description if I remember. Then there's the Arsenal 8-2 Man United game.
Oh, Jesus.
Back in 2011. And... That hasn't been atoned for yet. The white flower, that's been atoned for because of the knuckle dragging element of it and the hunger strike, and they own themselves. The Arsenal Arsenal game hasn't been atoned for yet. Oasis splitting up has now been atoned. So that's not as traumatic anymore when I think about that day. Because the other thing about that day was when I started traveling to the United States to come over here for the first time.
Yeah.
And that was 20 years ago.
Yeah. It's been a week.
So I'm thankful.
Yes.
For you.
Oh.
I'm thankful for the music. I hope we get more.
Yes.
I hope we get a tour date in either Dallas or Houston or even Jackson or
Little Rock. They won't go to Little Rock.
Maybe.
It's not a definitely maybe.
No. But I'm so thankful. So this counts as number 6 of podcasts that we've done on the band Oasis.
And I'm okay with that.
And I'm okay with that. And you should be okay with that too.
Yes.
And that's it for this episode. So Sarah, Thank you very much. I've got to edit this and get it up tomorrow. So,
but again,
it is going to be an explicit episode because I can't be bothered to wipe all the wordy dudes.
And we had no problem. There's really no editing.
No.
I
just got to listen to it one more time just to make sure.
But guys, for those who got tickets, you're amazing, and we want to see all your pictures.
Yes.
I want to. I know.
And a big shout out to two people in particular. Who the two folks, I can't remember who they were. Right, and I'm not going to name them because I haven't asked permission to name them, so I'm not going to name them. But for being over this side of the world, one of them's from Canada, one of them's from the US, and they're both going over to go. Yeah. That right there, that warms my heart.
Yeah, I know one of the Canadian people that you're talking about, and then the other one that I was, she got her finally got her tickets.
Did?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Just he got his tickets. And from the guy from Pennsylvania or New Jersey, I can't remember which state it is.
New England, yeah.
New England. No, this is my guy.
Yeah, I know. But Pennsylvania, that's all the New England states. Yeah. So we'll say New England. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize Pennsylvania was considered New England. It shows what I know. I'm happy for everybody who got tickets. I really am. And if I was over there, I would have spent all morning on Ticketmaster.
Oh yeah, you'd drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, I would mortgage the house. I don't care. But all right, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks very much, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to check out becausemaybepodcast.com unless you found our archive of everything we've ever done. Don't forget to check out Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest news and what's going on. It's going to be changing. I'll be changing saying that before too much longer. And don't forget to check out Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podchaser, Pandora, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podbean, or Amazon Music. That's where you'll find the rest of our podcasts, including the 90s podcast, which will be coming back in 2 weeks.
Hey.
Yeah, where I will be talking about the video game Doom. So yeah, it's a good way to start it off. And of course, we've got lots of things planned, including our 100th episode spectacular. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Sarah, thank you for coming on.
You're most welcome, dear.
Live forever, everybody. Bye.
Shangri-La.